welcome to Secure the Bag Week 8 NFL Picks. It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy, welcome back, y'all. Let's get this money.
Yes, let's do it. Let's secure the bag with your boys. Apologize for being late. We're getting it started right now. We do have a few people watching along, so we want to shout out to Pops and Unc as well.
Yes,
Good
sir.
afternoon. What's good? What's good? And as always, want to remind everybody to participate in our Yahoo for a Super Bowl Square. You can compete with us on there. We actually had 5 people tied with 13 wins last week, and Kelly took the tiebreaker. So shout out to Kelly, and let's see. In fact, you and I were each one of those that were tied with 13.
Yep.
Had a strong week, and we're in that tiebreaker, but just couldn't get it done. Let's see what we can do this week.
So close.
You want to go ahead and lead us off with these?
Yeah, got you.
All right, cool. Let's get it. Thursday night football starting tonight. We have the Minnesota Vikings at the LA Rams.
Man, this one's tricky. Everything in me is telling me to pick the Vikings. You know what I'm saying? Because they are a really good team. They had a really tough game last week. Literally lost by 1 point. Like that's to a really good Detroit Lions team. But there is something that makes me want to pick the Rams tonight. Like the Vikings are a super heavy favorite. They are in LA, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I'm going Vikings. I'm going to go Vikings, but I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout or anything like that. It's going to be close.
I agree. Like I'm like circling the Rams. Like this looks like a great spot for an upset for them.
Yeah.
But I think this is kind of a coin flip. I'm going to go with the Vikings though, just to kind of get right after that last week, and he has the style to stop the Sean McVay type offenses. Flores. So he has that defense. So I think it might be tough for the Rams on offense, and I just got to go with the Vikings, but I feel you in that. It's a tricky spot right there.
Yeah, Rams are finally starting to get healthy too. They pretty much got everybody back except for Puka Nacua. So their offense is getting back to health. So that's another big thing to look out for too.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I also want to welcome in Anthony Weston to the show.
Yeah,
glad you could join us, and he's going with the Vikings as well. The chat is all Vikings, so we'll see, but it's going to be a good one. I think it should be a good one. Yeah. Moving on to Sunday morning, we got the Packers at the Jaguars.
Yeah, this could be another kind of upset. The Jaguars haven't been playing too well. They won last week, but obviously they played a bad New England team, I believe, up in London. But I'm going Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? Until the Jaguars can prove to me they're back on track, I'm definitely going Green Bay.
I feel you. I'm going with Green Bay as well, but I do think that this could be like a kind of shootout game.
Yeah.
The Jags, they definitely have the offensive weapons, and sometimes their defense comes to play, sometimes not. So we'll see. But yeah, I got to go with the Packers as well. I'm with you on that one. We also have Kelly in the building. Thank you, Kelly, for joining us.
Awesome. House in the building.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody, that's the champ from last week. So congrats one more time, Kelly. And don't be afraid to drop your picks along the way. Yeah. Next up, an interesting one: the Cardinals at the Miami Dolphins. We don't see this matchup a lot.
Yeah, I'm going with the Dolphins in this one. For whatever reason, I just against my better judgment, if that means anything. Tua, I think Tua is back, so I think the offense will be able to get rolling a little bit again. Tua makes Tyreek Hill, saying that much better in this offense with Coach McBride. So I don't know, for some reason, I like the Cardinals, but they have looked better, but they also haven't. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for Miami to kind of get right this game.
Man, I'm going against you on this one. I'm going with the Cardinals. Only because I think it's too soon for Tua. I really hope that everything's going to be okay. It's crazy how many different times we've come back to this same subject for him. Mm-hmm. And I'm just hoping he can protect himself. But I just don't see a way. He's still early in his career that more aren't coming. At what point is it too dangerous?
And he's not – and he was so against wearing the Guardian cap too. I don't know. Everything about his decision-making to me is god-awful. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea what he's doing, man, but –
yeah, but you said it though.
They gotta protect him.
And you said it though. Tua does make Tyreek Hill more effective, so we'll see. All right, let's keep it moving. Jets at the Patriots.
Yeah, this is one of the wins of the early part of the season. They beat the Patriots early on in the season, and I think they beat them again. I think I won't say get right because I still don't have them winning 8 games. I think maybe less than 9, but. I'm taking the Jets in this one. About 2 weeks now with Adams running in the offense, learning the offense. So maybe he'll be utilized a little more this week. But I'm going with the Jets.
Yeah, I'm going with the Jets as well. The Patriots are just struggling, man, like on all sides. So,
Yeah,
like you said, maybe not necessarily a get right game for the Jets, but a good spot to kind of work through some things against a bad opponent. So,
yeah.
I'm going Jets, even though they're familiar, even though it's a division opponent. I still think that the Jets got this one. So, all right, let's keep it moving. Another division game, another good one. The Ravens at the Browns. Well, not really a good one, but good one for depending on who you're rooting for.
Yeah, no, this one's tricky to me too. I want to pick the Ravens, but I feel like this could be like upset of the week for me. This always happens to us every year. Like we'll be
Yeah.
riding high, one of the best teams in the league. We always got one, maybe two losses, and then like the Browns come in and beat them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's in Ohio. I'm picking Ravens, but don't be surprised if my pick changes later.
Dang, that's what's up. Behind the Jameis Winston train, he is going to start. So
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a little bit too much for Cleveland. I am going Baltimore, but I see what you mean because it is one of those things where these teams seem to have some lopsided games or some unexpected outcomes for sure.
they know each
So,
other well, and Chubb is in his second week back, so you know he's going to get the rock a little bit more than he did last week too. So
all right,
yeah,
for
we'll
sure,
see.
especially with Watson going down. So,
Exactly.
also want to welcome in Stephanie Washington. What's good? Thanks for joining us.
What's going on?
Appreciate you being able to jump in midday. And
Yeah.
we're just making our picks. And shout out to you for joining along. Don't be afraid to drop your picks as well. Next up, we got the Eagles at the Bengals.
This one's tricky too. The Eagles are an underdog in this game, and Bengals offenses seem to get right, but I don't know if I trust either one of these defenses. But I'm going to go Bengals just because they're at home. That's really about it. Both of these teams are very familiar. Offenses are playing pretty well, and neither of their defenses are playing pretty well. So I'm going Bengals.
Yeah, you said it. Like it is a very close one. Like it's kind of hard to know who to trust. Is it the trends from early this year versus the trends we've seen the last couple of weeks that are going to come
Yeah,
out to play? I'm going the Eagles in this one in the close one, but I just think it's going to be the difference is AJ Brown. When he's in there on offense, it just makes things different. Saquon coming off of a big game against the Giants, it's not going to be the same motivation, but still, hopefully, he's motivated to play hard. So
yeah,
I'm going with the Eagles. That's a close one though. That's a very split one as well in the
yeah,
comments.
yeah. The spread's
Um,
close too.
yeah, for sure. All right, next up we've got the Colts at the Texans.
Texans in this one. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Colts still just have no identity. They have kind of, are they a ground team or are they an air team? Kind of like what they're doing. They still have a lot of holes in this team, in my opinion, on both the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. So I'm going with Texans. I know they really want to get Tank more involved in the offense because I think he had a goose egg last week. So let's see if
Yeah,
he can get a little more involved this week.
I'm going with the Texans as well. It's never quite a walkover, but I feel like that they have a comfortable win in this one. I think they have way too many weapons for the Colts, and the Colts are still trying to figure out who they are. So
Yeah.
um, Texans too, they're like running away with that division early. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. It's wraps.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on. We got the Titans at the Lions.
Lions continue to roll. A lot of people are probably thinking this is going to be a blow up, but that Titans defense is still really, really good.
Yeah.
But Lions for sure, especially because they're in Detroit, they're in Michigan, and Lions to me look like right now the best team in the NFC.
I agree. They can hit you in so many different ways. They
Yep.
have a solid defense, and they have like that offense that can either run the ball, throw the ball, and a good mixture with the play calling. So I agree with you. I think they'll roll in this game, especially being back at home. They've had two big road wins in a row, so this will be a nice little celebration for them to come back home too. So
For sure.
Lions, and it looks like the chat too. Stephanie Washington Lions 100%. Pop's got the emoji. So
Yep.
yeah. This is a tricky one. The Falcons at the Bucks.
Yeah, this one is tricky. If this would have been last week, minus the injuries, I would have said Tampa Bay for sure, especially because it's in Tampa Bay. But they lost both of their best receivers last week, and I don't think neither one of them is playing in this game. So, like for me, I think too much is going to be placed on Baker's shoulders. But a lot of times that also helps too because game planning makes it a little bit more difficult when you've got guys that you don't have a lot of film on and things of that nature.
True.
So I'm taking the Falcons, but like I still think Bake has been good enough to still win this game, and I think they have two good running backs who are great on the ground and in the pass game. So taking Falcons for right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Buccaneers win this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna be closer. Those wide receiver injuries really hurt the Bucks. And the thing that scares me is like I know it was in Atlanta, but like only like 3 weeks ago these teams played in prime time and the Falcons ended up winning, you know what I'm saying, outscored them. So if it becomes a race like that again, can the Bucks keep up with the depleted offense? I don't know. So
Yeah,
that's what's making me go Falcons, but it's scary to pick against the Bucks because if they lose this game, that will be 2 to the Falcons, and the Falcons will have a big lead in the NFC South, surprisingly. So
sure.
this is kind of like an early, like, must win or close to it,
Very true. Very true.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll have a close eye on that one. Moving on, the Saints at the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going Chargers. Neither one of these teams look very good right now, but they did just extend Alvin Kamara, so I'm hoping we get a big game out of him because he had a really bad game last week. Um, but we'll see. You know, I mean, I know obviously the Saints are still struggling a little bit at the quarterback position, but in California with everything they got going on, I think I'm going to take the Chargers.
Yeah, me too. I think the Chargers, even though it was a short week coming off the Monday Night Football, I feel like they have kind of a sour taste in their mouth. They're going to want to kind of get after it, show a little bit more on offense instead of settling for field goals every time.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, the Saints, like I don't know if they have enough to keep up if it goes that way. So
yeah,
go Chargers, go in this one. I think they'll bounce back. A very interesting game here. The Bills at the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm going Bills. Bills look really good to me, and they're doing it like under the radar. You know what I mean? It's like, I think because they lost, Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, things of that nature. So they're missing some weapons that they've had in the past. But Josh Allen ain't missed a beat. He's the only quarterback in the league right now with 0 interceptions,
Right.
which is kind of crazy because he goes for it. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys who definitely gives his wide receivers a chance. You know what I mean? Or to make a play. And but he's still playing lights out. He's a favorite for MVP, and I like the Bills in this one still.
I like the Bills as well, but I think it's going to be a close one, man. The Seahawks keep tricking me. Every time I bet against them, they come through and have this great game like they did last week. And every time I'm like with them and I think that they're going to do well, they fall on their face. So I don't know who to kind of count on, but I am going to go with the Bills only because I feel like they have been the more complete team this year.
Yeah.
I think that will be a close one. Looks like the chat is pretty much split. But Anthony Weston says Josh Allen will throw his first interception this week. Yeah, I think he's the only quarterback.
That's since I just brought it up.
Yeah, exactly.
I just brought it up. He definitely throwing one this week.
Exactly. The jinx is out there.
Yeah.
The next up, now we don't know on the injury wire. I think if Jaden Daniels for sure is going to play or not, but we have the Bears at the Commanders.
Yeah, for some reason I feel like anytime the number one pick in the draft plays like that second or third quarterback taken, the number one usually ends up winning. Don't know Jaden Daniels is playing, but for some reason I have a feeling the Bears are going to win this game. I'm rooting for Washington, wholeheartedly. I really love how they put together this team, and Jaden Daniels has just been phenomenal, man. But I think I'm going Bears for this one, especially coming off the bye week.
Yes, same, exactly. Like I think this is going to be a great game. If Jaden Daniels doesn't play, that sucks because we do want to see that matchup. But even if he does play, like you said, somehow that number one pick somehow gets the little extra breaks.
Mm-hmm.
I think also though the Commanders haven't really played a defense quite as good as the Bears defense. So if they come out and they play balanced, they play really good on defense, and then they get something out of the offense and the rookie, I think that they will win this game. So a fun one, but I think we might have been robbed of a really fun one if Jaden Daniels doesn't play.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got a division class: the Chiefs at the Raiders.
Chiefs. Not much needs to be said about this game. The Raiders are basically kind of in it seems like rebuild mode. They already, they talked about, already sent off Devontae Adams, and also I think some trade rumors have been going on too with their star defensive end as well.
Yeah, Max Crosby.
Yeah, Max Crosby. So I just probably it's weird. It's weird to say blowout because Chiefs don't really blow teams out. They just do enough to kind of win, and they're kind of depleted too. I know they had a really big, pickup in D-Hop this past weekend, but he still needs to learn the offense, and we know how difficult that is on this team, which is why they tend to keep their receivers, or when they cut them, they bring them back. So we'll see how much he's implemented into this offense after just a couple of days of practice.
Yeah, I agree. Chiefs like you said, in the close to a blowout or whatever version of blowout they have, 9 points, 12 points. Nothing too crazy, but I think that they'll control this game front to back. And like as Stephanie Washington says, the Raiders are done pretty much. They're selling off all their best parts and they're figuring it out. But the only question is, will Antonio Pierce survive? Is really kind of what the only question for me is there. All right, next up we have your Panthers at the Broncos.
I'm going with the Broncos, especially because they're in Denver. It looks like Bryce. Almost called him the rookie. It looks like Bryce is starting this game. Prayers to Andy Dalton and his family. They got into a car accident. I think yesterday or the day prior. Seemed like everybody was okay. But yeah, Bryce is getting the start this week. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like, dang, you're gonna put him up against one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league, man. Like,
right.
Kind of rough, especially since he hasn't exactly looked good in the last year and a half. So definitely taking the Broncos. I think it's gonna be really, really difficult for the Panthers to score. And yeah, we'll see. But I'm definitely going Broncos, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm going with the Broncos as well. That defense is a lot, and Bryce Young being thrown in there. Like you said, hope everything is well with Andy Dalton. But they said he did sprain his thumb in the car crash, so
yeah,
there was no like major injuries. But that was something, and that is pretty crazy, though, scary. And hopefully everything's okay. But yeah, I think the Broncos are in a good spot to win that game. All right, next up we've got Sunday Night Football. The Cowboys, America's team, at the 49ers.
I don't know why. I don't like if there was ever a time where the Dallas Cowboys should be able to beat this team, it's now. But I can't pick them, dog. I don't know what it is. I just feel like for whatever reason, San Francisco is going to get Debo back. It sucks because they're going to be without Brandon Ayuk. But I just, for some reason, still think that San Francisco is going to win this game. They shouldn't. There's no way. I feel like there's no way they should be able to beat them. But I think Cowboys are still struggling a little bit. I'm on the offensive side of the ball. And I know San Francisco is going to want to get right after that loss to the Chiefs that they last week. I know Brock Purdy is going to play better. His confidence against this team is high. So I just hoping your boys will finally be able to get them, but I just don't know if it's going to happen.
I think it's going to be a super close game, but I see what you're saying. It's something about that. It's almost like Georgia and Bama. It's like something about this team. Yeah. No matter how we show up together, whether they're the underdog, we're supposed to be doing well or whatever. Yeah. We just have something about it. I do hope that this is a different time. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a very close game, though. I think that the spread is a little bit too high, so I'm going, with the Cowboys on the spread. Yeah, but I think it's going to be like a last-second thing. I think it's going to be kind of like a heartbreak type thing, or the Cowboys scrambling to try to kick like a field goal to win at the end type of thing. So, man, I don't know why, but I'm picking Dallas just because I'm stubborn like that. But I do think it's going to be yeah, exactly. But I do think it's going to be a tough spot, and I know that they have guys that can kind of step up in that offense behind that. And that the Dallas defense is still depleted. So I think Cowboys in a very close game, but I totally feel you. This is just one of those that's got a little extra mojo for some reason that makes us play bad. So, so Pops is picking the 49ers, so it's kind of tough. Kelly, the Niners fan as well, she's saying go Niners, of course. Unc said, strangely enough, he says Dallas. So you never know. Maybe this will be like the Bizarro World version. Anthony Weston says the Cowboys as well. That's the thing. If they had any plan, hopefully if they had any plan, they could kind of figure something out in that bye week. So we'll see. Yep. But that'll be a fun one for sure. And then we got Monday Night Football. This is an interesting matchup. The Giants at the Steelers.
Yeah, I'm going Steelers. It's really hard. It's really hard to pick the Giants. Even when they look good, they suck. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if last week was any type of taste for the Steelers offense, definitely going with the Steelers. So if their defense can continue doing what they're doing, and if Russell Wilson for whatever reason can continue how they played last week, watch out. You know what I'm saying? The Steelers have kind of been a team where you're kind of like, if they get that offense going, like they're going to be scary. And it's one game. You know what I mean? Russell Wilson hasn't played all year, so like there's film on him, but not with this team. So maybe that has something to do with last week, but yeah, I'm thinking Steelers roll.
Yeah, I agree. I think the way that they did the Jets, and like it wasn't like that the offense was like totally different, but it was just a little bit more free flowing, a little bit more plays being made for whatever reason. Yeah. So I do think that the Steelers, if they can get that side of the ball, we already know how their defense is. Their defense is nasty. The Giants are going to have a problem scoring, so I think the Steelers in this one. Anthony West says, why did the Giants get so many primetime games? It's New York, baby. It's still The
That's
media
really it.
mecca.
That's really it. They don't even have anybody on their team that anybody really wants to see.
Right. But they're still the Giants. So
Exactly.
the Steelers, though, this is their second primetime spot in just a few weeks, too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we're going to get to our against the spread. We just did our money line picking who will win the game. Now we're going to do it with the adjusted score. We're going to bring you 3 locks. Last week, Strizzy, you hit on the Eagles.
Yeah.
Let's talk through these locks this week.
But yeah, for some reason, I like the Texans in this one. I just feel like you had mentioned earlier, I think Texans just have too much for the Colts. Even if for whatever reason it's close in the beginning, the Texans are going to find some way to kind of pull away. I see a couple of turnovers from the Colts side, and then Texas just kind of runs away with it.
For sure.
Kind of same thing. For whatever reason, I just feel like San Francisco has a lot of confidence when they play Dallas. And if you have confidence playing against the team, you're always going to really kind of fare well. I know it's a little bit different. I feel like 4.5 is kind of high, but for some reason, when these spreads are like this, usually one of the teams runs away with it. So if San Francisco plays really, really bad, I think Dallas can run away with that, plus 4.5. But right now, I'm just kind of feeling the favorite this week in San Francisco.
I got you. No, for sure. And last up.
Yeah, and then I talked about the Bengals winning this game, but for some reason I think it's going to be a 1 to 2 point field goal end type ending. Like you said, AJ Brown, he makes this offense so much more dynamic, and Smith had a really kind of bad game last week, so I feel like they're going to kind of balance that out this week, get him a lot more involved in this game, especially again because both of these teams have horrible defenses and really, really bad secondary play. So looking at probably a shootout, so this game probably going to come down to the wire. And Eagles could very well win this game, but even if they don't, I think it's going to be really, really close. Somehow I think it's, even below the 3, 1 point maybe.
Got you. I like it. All right, let me jump to mine really quickly. Last week I was able to hit the triple bag. I'm super excited about that.
Yes,
and I need to start kind of narrowing my parlays down to at least these 3 because sometimes I'll do R6 and then sometimes I'll just go crazy, add another couple in there, and that's when you get in trouble. But that's what's up. Be able to get the triple bag. This week I got Chicago, against Washington by that 3 points. I feel comfortable with that, especially if Jaden Daniels doesn't play. Hopefully, if Jaden Daniels in there, that line moves a little bit, but we'll see. But I feel good at that. I got to go against you, man. I got to go the anti one. Like I said, I think that the Cowboys might just have a late something to be very close. But 4.5 did seem a little bit odd, like you kind of said. Like it seems like a weird number at this spot. So we'll see what it closes at. But I'll take the Cowboys plus 4.5 points. And then I agreed with your Eagles one too. AJ Brown, the offense just being so a little bit more dynamic in these past couple of weeks, and then the Bengals struggling on defense so hard. So I think that's a good one.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
All right. Here's our record so far. Very close on the money line side. And then I'm doing pretty good on my bags.
You're doing well, dog. You're doing well.
Keep this thing going for sure. Hopefully another triple bag this week. So we making it happen, man. We're securing the bag. So tonight's game, any props or anything like that you have for tonight's game that you kind of like? Have you been looking at?
Yeah, man, I'm really liking Aaron Jones's over on his rushing yards, as well as the touchdown for Aaron Jones. So I'm thinking he's gonna have a good game. I'm thinking Kyron Williams, kind of same thing. Seen a big game for both of the running backs from both teams. Also Justin Jefferson as well for his receiving yards. Not sure if it gets in the end zone, but I'm liking his over for receiving yards just in general. And for some reason, my kind of dark horse for tonight, who I think might have a nice solid game, is Tutu Atwell. Obviously, everyone's looking at Cooper Kupp. He's back. Been a little while since he's been back. But all eyes are going to be on him, so I'm really looking at Tutu Atwell. So I'm liking his over on receptions and his over on yards.
I like that. The sneaky receiver plus the running backs from both sides should be a great game, man. And like you said, it might be a little sneaky upset alert. We'll see how the Rams come out. Anthony Weston says, here's a lock. D-Hop will be in sync with Patrick immediately. I think that is a great pickup for them. He is a great receiver, and he's a possession-type receiver, so he doesn't have to run fast. But when they need that 3rd and 7, when they need that 3rd and 5, he's got another outlet to go through that's not named Kelsey. So that was a really good pickup. And then the other thing I wanted to mention before we get out of here real quick is the World Series. We didn't even get to talk about it on the big show because we kind of hadn't expressed, but the World Series starts tomorrow, Dodgers, Yankees, super dope. Do you have a way that you're leaning on that one so far?
Dodgers taking it. I don't know why. I just feel like already calling it out. Dodgers World Series champions.
Me too, man. I think it's the Otani magic, something about it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the Dodgers on this one, even though I just think it is an awesome World Series to see a clash of Titans. Yankees, Dodgers. That's just that's epic. But I gotta go with the Dodgers, man. They're so dope, and it should be a good one either way.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about that on Tuesday's show. We'll talk more about Bronny and LeBron and the NBA start so far.
Yeah.
Lots of cool stuff to get to. So we'll be on episode 270 of Say Like a Champ next Tuesday. And then, of course, we'll announce the winner of the Pick'em and the Secure the Bag stuff on that day as well. So that's what's up. We appreciate everybody joining us and rocking with us as always. But for now, it's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy.
Peace.